when it comes to relationships, right? What my general advice to everybody: forget beauty,
Yeah.
forget everything. Don't forget big boom boom shot. forget beauty, forget everything. Forget like he's tall, he's muscular, he has a big bend. First thing is a kind and empathetic person. See all that superficial thing you're looking at, by the time the monster comes out, you will not even remember it. Go for somebody who's genuinely like just a kind person. Nobody's saying they're not going to be mad at you, but when they're mad at you, they're also kind about it. Not the one that because they're mad at you, they won't throw you off the balcony.
Or keep malice with you for days.
Yeah, or the woman that when she's mad at you, you can't sleep because you're scared she'll bring hot water and pour on you in your sleep. Just that's the first thing. Then you can now say, okay, my spec, oh, she's fine, she's hot, oh, he's tall. He has money, all of that stuff, whatever it is you're looking for. So whether there's money or no money, you're going to regret it. Because unkind people would always show off, and when they show off, it is so cold.
You're welcome to another exciting episode of The Bodied and Mindful. And I remain your host, Coach Nikki. Today I have the handsome, multi-talented Raezy.
Is there?
Yeah, that's his name to you. I'm not giving you his real name. So today we are going to be talking to Raezy about a whole lot. He's going to be sharing about a lot that I'm sure he might not even know yet. So Raezy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So I'm gonna go right into it.
All right, let's go.
So can you tell us what was the turning point in your life that made you realize that your mental health was important and made you start, working on it?
Okay, so at a point in my life, I think I was just going through the most. The thing is, I'd like to think I'm a strong person.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that I was, battling like, let's say, some you could call depression. I wouldn't till today. I wouldn't admit I was depressed, but I feel like I was battling depression.
Yeah.
And then, I'm a very spontaneous person, creative and everything, and all of that was just not working. Nothing I was doing was working. I was failing at all my tasks, and it was killing me because I'm such a perfectionist. And then I realized that I wasn't paying attention to the things that mattered to me and things that helped my mental health. So it took like an actual dip in all of the things I was doing for me to realize that I needed to take care of myself some more, like self-care, physically, mentally, and everything. So I now start doing the gym. I always played football, but I left that, and I started doing that every Sunday. Started watching things that would stimulate my mind and stuff like that. So it's crazy. Sometimes we don't even realize until something very drastic is happening.
Yeah. And you're trying to understand, like, why is my life like this?
Like, this is not me. Like, I used to be, And another thing is funny because at that point, I like to look out for people around me though.
Yeah.
But it was so bad that I literally take a lot of money. Like, I'll just take a lot of dollars, convert it in there, put it in my trunk, and start looking for people to come and hang out. Like, just come out, come somewhere. Yeah, it was crazy.
You were trying to distract yourself.
Yeah, so every time I'm like, who wants to go out? And I take people out,
Why did you
eat
call
whatever
me?
you want. Oh my, it was crazy. That time, I don't think I was myself. It was just, I wouldn't know what was happening. So it was later, like, I like to look out for people still. Like, hey, if you need something and I can do it, I'll come through. But that time, I was doing it constantly. And it took me a little while after to even realize that, this was even a sign too, like, because there was really no need for that. Yeah. So I was just trying to feel something that wasn't there.
Yeah, you felt empty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was something. It was a period. It was a crazy period for me.
Crazy. So there was not maybe a traumatic event that happened, or did you experience something that just made you start losing focus? Because that was it for me at one point. Like, something happened to me, I didn't deal with it, and I just unconsciously started reaching out to unhealthy things.
Yeah, so that's happened. That's part of being strong, right? So I'd seen like a couple of very horrific things. I had horrific experiences, but I just let them slide. I try not to internalize. However, over time I realized that it's important to deal with these things and not just like let them slide. You understand? So from Okay, so first, let me say that the first time I ever witnessed jungle justice was when I moved back to Nigeria, and I was still a kid. So like literally seeing somebody like set ablaze, that was crazy. So that really messed me up for the
Wow.
longest. And then I now thought, okay, you know what? Yeah, maybe it's one of those things. But then you grow, and then you also experience like a whole lot of crazy things. And all of these things are not healthy. Do you understand? We think
Yeah.
we're fine, but we're really not fine. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think like almost every Nigerian needs therapy because we've seen the most.
Yeah.
We've been through the most.
And we
for
say
real.
that it's a normal thing.
Yeah, but all of these things are not normal at all. Are not normal. Are not normal. Another very, no, this was really harrowing. So one time, I lost somebody in the family, and then that was like culture shock for me because we never really used to go back home like they say in the village, right? Go
Okay,
back
yeah.
to the village.
Yeah.
But then we lost somebody, and we had to go bury the person. And next thing I'm seeing, like, all the people home don't even care, like, at least where I'm from, right?
Yeah.
And they just want to extort money off you. And
Yeah.
you're literally mourning, like, actively mourning. So it
Yeah.
just made me feel like,
That's
it was very
crazy.
insensitive and very, do you understand? So it just made me realize that people don't really care about you. And at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself and make sure you and your family and everybody's good because, that was really insane. And this is supposed to be people from your place, and they just want to extort you and all of that. Yeah, that really hurt. That really hurt.
Wow.
That really hurt.
I'm sorry you had to experience that.
Yeah.
And that's really bad
It's still
because
shocking.
Nigerians like to make traumatic things look like it's normal.
Yeah.
Take for instance, boarding house. If you go to most times in boarding house, when bullying,
Yeah.
maybe even seniors molesting juniors,
Yep.
taking
That's
their stuff.
That's crazy.
You will see people when people discuss it on online platforms. You see people doing challenge. Your own is even small.
Yeah.
Do you know what I went through?
Right.
They did this to me, they did that to me. You see another person saying, your own is small. Oh, that is a normal thing now. I don't know why do you think we like to normalize trauma in Nigeria?
Yeah, just like I said earlier. So the problem is in Nigeria, we don't appreciate how terrible some things are and how bad they are. It's just like abuse and molestation, just like you rightly said. Even till today, there's what's it called now? Adults who think that, even women who think that it's okay for their husband to hit them. It's better for him to be hitting you than for him to be cheating or something, or than for you to be single. Like, so it's crazy, like how many people have that mindset. Even some educated people, educated
surprising.
women. Yeah, do you understand? It's actually astonishing. So, I think that there's a cultural thing to it. Aside the cultural thing, it's just culture, religion, tradition, all of that. Because apparently in a lot of places in Nigeria, the woman is not even supposed to speak. She's literally supposed to just be like a tool for her husband and stuff,
Yeah.
And he can have her when he wants, do whatever he wants, which is not so. I remember the first time I was trying to articulate to somebody that, you could even be married and your husband could be sexually harassing you, and then she never understood it, and I was like, wow. Yeah. So like it's impossible for my husband to harass me or rape me because we're married. And then after you break things like that down to her, she now understands it. So when she realized, it was a moment of truth for her because she never really saw it that way. I understand. So I think it's just culture and tradition. Because, for example, just like the things you talked about in school, that was what it was for many people growing up. Seniors would bully you, beat the heck out of you, molest you and all of that stuff, and it was seen as normal. Sometimes there's some parents where if you went back to complain to them, they tell you, your mate's not in school, are you the first to go to boarding school? They just throw it aside. And I think that's why, abuse has become such a normal thing here.
And that's why a lot of us are traumatized.
Yep. So much internalized trauma.
Yeah, a lot of Nigerians are a walking time bomb.
Yeah, we all need therapy, I promise you. Everybody, like, as long as you're in this country.
But why do you think we have the wrong mindset to therapy?
So first, it's not exactly like our how do I put it? It's not exactly like in
Our culture.
Yeah, in our culture. Here, would rather say go see your pastor or your imam or something, and before you know it, they're reading the Bible or reading the Quran and quoting stuff to you. So everything in Nigeria, you leave everything to God. That's the problem. So therapy is not. I mean, if you told somebody to go pay money, a lot of money, for somebody to counsel them, they'll be like, "What are you saying? Like money I used to eat." So they don't see the value. You get me? So, but if you say, "Oh, I'm going through this," go talk to a pastor, or they'll be more than happy to do that. So it boils down to all of that. So we just need like a lot of reorientation, a lot of enlightening, sensitization. People need to know that a lot of the things that they've experienced are not really normal, and you can get help. Even if you don't want to go for therapy, like just you can read things, you can talk to people, you can confide. So another thing is growing up, like we never really used to talk to people. That's why people like abusers and everything got away with stuff, because nobody was confident enough to share with the next person. So but I think right now, like, parents understand that you need to let your kids.
True. I always tell people that, like, let me even talk about maybe sexual abuse a little bit. I always tell people that if your child is up to the age of 4, 5, it is not too early to talk to them about their body and about sexual abuse. You can the same way you shout on them, don't touch the stove, don't do this, don't do that. You know how to talk to your child when they are being picky with food, when you're trying to convince them. These are serious issues, so you should be able to talk to them about their bodies too, because you know why? A pedophile or an abuser is not going to care. They are not going to care that you're their friend's child. They are not going to care that, this. And most of the time, the abusers are always people that are around, people that are close to you. So I always say
that way you never suspect.
I just don't know why, But in hindsight, we can't really blame our parents, because they were not raised to talk about emotions, like especially men. And so that's where I'm leading to now. Men and mental health. Why is it so hard? Why do men just, a man is dealing with a lot and he just shoves it in and tries to be a man, and, somehow it trickles into his life. He takes it out on the wife, takes it out on his children.
Well, the honest truth is the society, especially like the African society, and specifically the Nigerian society, is very unkind to men. That's just the truth. Nobody really wants to listen to a man. Nobody wants to hear what they have to say.
I do.
Well, yeah, you're one of the few, the very few. Nobody wants to hear what they have to say. Nobody wants to empathize with them. Nobody wants to know if they're having a good day. If you're a man, just have money, and that's it. Like, take care of your kids. And even if you have, like, if you're going through a bad time, people don't understand. Do you understand? Like, even your immediate family, sometimes they don't understand. They just feel like you're irresponsible or inept or something. But men deal with a lot, right?
Yeah, but have you experienced something like that? You sounded so, like, maybe.
No, I mean, I've seen, like, because I have. I've seen it. I've seen it, like, firsthand. I've seen it, like, immediate family members. Well, luckily for my dad, like, always had a great wife who understood. So even when his own case was, like, he was being, like, silly, he would lose money to, like, fraudsters. Like, so much money. I'm talking, like, I saw kids in the 90s, so much money, and then he wouldn't listen, and it would still lose more money to them. And it was clear, because we're kids, but, like, my uncles and everybody was telling him, yo, this is wrong. But it kept happening. But then all that period when, that backfired on him, my mom was, like, holding it down. However, but I've seen situations where, if you're a man and you cannot come correct, nobody cares about you. You get me? Nobody wants to help, really, except maybe, like, one or two very close friends. Yeah, do you understand? So, I mean, if you're a man trying to get help, nobody's going to listen to you, man. It's just sad. So because of that, right, men don't want to share too much. They just feel like nobody really cares. And even if somebody just wants to listen, they just want to listen for listening's sake. Nobody's going to try to prefer a solution. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, so because of that, like, Nigerian men just like to, face their battles on their own and just internalize. Funny enough, like, Rema even literally has a song on his album that talks about this.
What song is that?
It's called Now I Know. So literally saying like, now I know who's there for me. All those I love turn enemies.
Yeah.
You know, I like to face my battles on my own. Sleeping pills just to sleep. All of that stuff. So, and a lot of men can relate because when the song dropped, I realized that it was men that were retweeting it so much on my timeline. So, yeah. So I mean, nobody really cares about the man. Sadly.
Sadly.
Only your dog.
No, but that's wrong. But I know in this society we are still learning. That's why we keep having conversations like this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go straight into relationship.
Oh.
Yes. So what's dating like for you? Have you experienced a crazy relationship, the one that makes you want to pull out your hair?
Oh yeah.
You have. How did you deal with it? What was it like?
It's ironic because she was like one of my favorite people of all time, and it was like one relationship that I really thought was gonna go somewhere.
Yeah.
And she equally loved me, but I don't know what it was at the time. Later she kind of explained it, but yeah, it was crazy. It was like, you know, fighting over the minutest things. Yeah, like so for example, I'll give you a practical example. At the time when I worked in media, you know how media is, it's like time is very important.
Yeah.
And I tell you, you even know like I'm probably on air doing stuff. And if I say I'll call you back at 6:25, right? I'll probably call you at like 6:30, 5 minutes after.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a problem. Now it's not that she's not, and the good thing is she wasn't like always nagging or making noise, but it was also terrible because she just goes cold. And you don't know what's going on, and you can have a conversation.
Because of 5 minutes.
I'll tell you, it's that bad. Yeah, but outside of that, it's just like the sweetest thing. So I couldn't like reconcile the both of them. Like, what's going on? Yeah, so you know, she goes cold, gives a silent treatment, and you guys probably can't talk for like 3 days. Yeah, it was really sad. So
even if you apologize by 6:30,
let's just tell you she's not mad anymore and everything, but her responses are just slow. All of that stuff, and it really gets to her.
The energy.
Yeah, and she feels like she's unloved or whatever, and I'm like, whoa. So it was later, funny enough, that she now started telling me after we'd broken up and become friends again.
Yeah.
You know, she started telling me about her childhood and how she was never really loved, and she was seen as the black sheep because she looked very strange. She was really like fair with blue eyes, you know, but very pretty. And then they kept telling her she was a witch. Yeah, she was from hell. And she's too fine to be in this world. She should go back to the water. So yeah, so I kind of understood later on. But at the time I was in a relationship, it didn't make sense to me. So yeah, so nobody really cared about her too, and it was sad. Yeah,
wow. So she was
but that
projecting.
was a crazy relationship. She was projecting, but I didn't know. I was just suffering that for like about 2 years.
True.
It was hell. Like I literally want to rip my hair apart. Like, what's going on? Like, can you just talk to me?
You know, sometimes that's why these days most people say when you're getting into a relationship, there are certain questions you have to ask. What have you been through in this life? No, it's true, because it helps you give that person grace. Yeah. If maybe you had known prior to you know, all those issues you guys were having. You would have known that, okay, this is the issue, and you maybe help her get help, or you know that, okay, this is the situation. If it's possible for you to put what do you call it,
alarm, set a timer or something.
I don't know, but sometimes you can't always help it.
I couldn't now.
It was a hard problem, something she needed to work on herself.
And that was largely the reason we broke up. Funny enough, so it literally ruined our relationship.
Wow.
And then I now start to understand why later. So I empathize with her, but I already lost this because, like, why? So at that point, like, we'd moved on. It was too late to start reconnecting. Okay. I mean, we tried to make it work a couple of times, but it was gone. So my relationship paid the price. That was really sad. Yeah. And since then, I just, just let relationships slide.
So you're single?
Oh, very single right now.
Oh, ladies.
Yeah.
He's single,
super
and
single.
he's of sound mind. So you know.
Oh my gosh.
So you know that if you're,
sound mind, I love that.
So Raezy, tell me.
Yeah.
How are you coping in Nigeria, today's Nigeria? The economic situation, the protests, everything.
See, I had to sigh for that because, man, it's been crazy, to be honest. Right now, I don't think there's anybody that can say they're not feeling it.
Yeah.
You have to feel it because the economy, the purchasing power of the people, the environment for businesses. Like you literally cannot pull off any business successfully because first, who is really patronizing? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Even the people who used to have like, a lot of loose money, loose change, to just now they don't have that. They're saving that for more important things.
Yeah.
So the inflation, the exchange rates, obviously like the price of goods being exacerbated by the insecurity and everything.
Yeah.
Everything altogether is wild, very very wild for real. Personally, I just try to. I mean, to be fair, to be honest, I have cut down a few of my. I now see some things as excesses, but they were just things I used to enjoy before.
Yeah.
So now I've cut down. I like to enjoy like fine dining or just checking one or two places. I like to hang out with my people, just go to a nice place and have a good time. But now, man, I'll be cooking at home.
You turned into a chef.
I'm telling you, like literally, even yesterday I still made some very nice bomb-ass meals. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So you have to. Sometimes you want to do a couple of things, even go out and do certain things, even meetings and stuff. You have to make some virtual so you don't spend too much on petrol or Uber or whatever it is. Yeah, so you just have yourself. You find yourself calculating every second.
Yeah. And
it never used to be like that. So it's so sad. Like whatever you want to spend on now, you're calculating like how much is it going to cost me. What can I do away with? So right now, almost everybody just goes for the essential things that they really need. So it's really bad, and it's been tough. But for everybody, it's been tough for me. But we have to keep it moving.
Do you think our leaders care about our mental health?
See, I'll tell you for free. No, those guys don't care. Can I say what I want to say?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think they
Please
don't care.
do.
I think they're very. I think so. Everything that's happening, by the way, is premeditated. Like it's intentional. They know what they're doing. They like to keep the people poor and struggling, so that there's no strength to like fight or revolt against them. Because if you have people who are empowered, obviously, it's easy for them to kick against you so it's all intentional. They like to keep people poor, they like to keep people struggling, they like to weaponize religion, right? Illiteracy, and of course, what's it called now? Tribalism, So it's all premeditated, so they don't care. So until we get leaders that really care about the people, like genuinely, and have the political will to do stuff. I'm sorry, Nigerians are going to be suffering for a while, sadly.
So no solution. You don't have any immediate solution because it doesn't seem like they want to leave that position of power.
The immediate solution is for Nigerians to speak with one voice and say enough is enough. The truth is, if Nigerians actually banded together, no government can stop them. That's just the truth. But
but people are scared.
Yeah, that's the thing. But no, so you're scared because people are scared, and that's valid. However, my point is, if we all spoke with one voice, even the whatever forces that any government wants to use, submerge you, would not be able to do it. Because I mean, imagine if people tripped out in the streets, millions of people, all over the country. What are you going to do when you have 50 million people in the streets out of the so-called 200 million that we have? You have to do what they want. Do you understand? All the countries that have liberated themselves, that's what happened. It was a situation where everybody had enough and they came out. Do you understand? Look at Bangladesh recently, Venezuela, Argentina, and after they were successful, you could literally see appreciable growth and change in 1 year. Argentina right now, the inflation has gone from almost 40-something% to the first positive in 1 year. So you see, and they had to fight and say, no, it's enough. The guy who was there still tried to rig and stay there, but the people didn't agree. So you see, so we have to speak with one voice. If we're going to get anything done, we have to stop all this rubbish tribalism, or I'm Christian, he's Muslim. That's just dumb. It's so laid back. But we're human beings, we're not animals. So you can't be saying, oh, it's not from my place, I'm not from his place. That's ridiculous. You can't even buy petrol, you can't even eat, and you're worried about where you're from and where the next man is from. Do you understand? So I think on the part of Nigerians, we need to shun all that tribalistic nonsense. And these guys also at the top, they also feel this tribalism because they know that it helps them divide the people. Yeah, so we need to like beat them at their own game. Stop all that tribalistic nonsense. Nobody's gonna get anything cheaper because you're from a particular place or because you're Muslim or Christian. So, and they're living the best lives, like driving the biggest cars, flying the best jets. All the kids are going to the best schools with your own money. And then if you go to your village or wherever you're from, there's no development. There's so much poverty everywhere. So why? So why are you now worried about, oh, this person is from a place? It doesn't make sense. So Nigerians need to come together. That's the only way. If not, sadly, we'll have to wait out this remaining, 3 years? About 3 years. And then if there's going to be an election in 2027, Nigerians have to stick together and just say no.
Like, are you sure we're going to learn our lesson? Because they'll just share a bag of rice now, and that's the end.
I think that anybody who hasn't learned till now is just, I don't know. I don't know if the person's okay. The person,
if you've not learned till now, you are the weapon fashioned against us. That's just the truth.
That's it. Yeah, you just nailed it. Because I'll tell you something for free. If you think it cannot get worse, it can always get worse. So please, just learn your lesson right now. It can always get worse, and it will get worse if we continue like this. Yeah, it will. I mean, look at now. We thought the dollar was coming down because it was like that's what like they just use forex to like but that's not how it works. For your currency to like have a lot of value, you need your economy needs to be like booming. You need to be exporting. You need to curb insecurity. You need to be able to attract foreign direct investments. Anybody investing in this economy the way it is, obviously, our companies are even living. So how in the world is your naira going to have value? It's not magic. It's just just basic economics. So we have to learn. If not, the dollar can actually get to 3K, can get to 4K. We'll be like Zimbabwe. We'll be like Venezuela, and nothing will happen until we say enough. Venezuela was like that until this year. They said enough's enough, and they took to the streets. Wow. Now they have a new president. So you see, so we have to, before it gets there.
If not, we'll keep wallowing in depression.
It's getting so
thinking
bad.
Of how to pay. Like education now is so expensive. Do you know how much they're paying in nursery school and primary school now?
I hear it's crazy.
It's more than some people's salary. They are, some people have the school fees parents are paying now.
Let's even talk about the very sad part. I've witnessed the middle class people in quote, because we really don't have any middle class anymore, but at least the people who we define as comfortable. I've seen them over time complain about not being able to give the kids the things they used to give them. Do you understand? So even like the unhealthy things like noodles and all those drinks, they're now so expensive.
This is now a luxury.
Do you understand? So it's either you're going for the other brand you never really patronize, but now you're going for them because they're cheaper. And even those ones, not like they're very affordable, but they're just cheaper than how crazy your favorite brand is right now. So you see parents like struggling just to give the kids lunch boxes. You can't give your kids like rich lunch boxes. You can't give them fruits because they're so damn expensive. So we're going to have a situation where in another 20 years, we'll have a lot of young adults with like stunted growth and who are not fully developed. And that's a problem in Nigeria. It's happening all over again.
I never thought it to that point.
So, sad. Because there's no nutrition anywhere. You can't give them the right things. You can't give them eggs, you can't give them turkey, you can't give them fish, you can't give them protein and all of that stuff.
The price
you can't give them
turkey
fruits.
Is what we used to use to buy phone. To buy one now. If you go to any eatery now, to buy a piece of turkey.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Even when it was 950, 1K, we used to complain that it's too expensive.
Like
so sometimes I wonder how people eat.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the next time there's election, I just hope that we've learned our lesson and more of us are paying attention to what's happening in the country. Because like you said, there's nobody that has not felt it.
Yeah, everybody.
Even the rich.
If you're a billionaire right now, even if your business used to make like 500 million a month in profit, you're definitely not making that right now. You're making like 250. So that's what a bad economy can do. The purchasing power of the people like drastically declines, that they can't even afford the basic stuff. I go to some of the biggest supermarkets now in Lekki One where I always shop. I try to buy stuff. I can literally count the number of people shopping. You're not making that money. So that's what. So you, even as a billionaire, you must feel it. Everybody's feeling it. So hopefully everybody learns. And if we all speak with one voice, it'll be impossible to rig So stop all that dumb tribalism when it's time for elections. If not, they'll rig again and it'll get worse. It can always get worse. Just never forget that. So we need to like do what's right. And think about the kids, man. Like you were depriving the kids of
the children
the
of
most
tomorrow.
important things. No nutrition, no good education. Like what are we doing?
What would the country look like at that time?
Exactly. So it's a disaster waiting to happen.
We're going to have more kids on the streets.
Yep.
And you know what that means.
Yep. Exactly.
That's more crime.
Yes.
That's more,
Yes.
I don't know, people in serious depression. Because even people that have jobs now, they are struggling.
Yeah. It's crazy. Really crazy. Really
It's
sad.
so crazy. Like thinking about it most times just gives me this. Thinking about it alone is depressive.
It is.
Is that the right word? It's
Depressing.
depressing. Yes. So on a lighter note, we're going to go back to talking about relationship, but this time around, not your relationship.
Okay.
So I was having an argument with someone.
Right.
Is it an argument or a conversation as to why women now commercialize relationship?
Transactional.
I want to hear, yes, relationships are now transactional. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Okay, so it's a two-way thing, right? First, if all the women that you meet are keeping it transactional, that also says a lot about you. So it's not about the woman per se, it says a lot about you. So sometimes, and I've heard ladies say, sometimes they do that to like scare a man away because if you meet a guy, you don't really like him, and it's persistent, you say, leave me alone, listen, once you bill him, he will run. So, I don't know, but that's not denying the fact that a lot of relationships have become transactional. I don't know, I think that's always been there, Sha. It's always been there, it's just been, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the system that we grew up in. I don't know if
I think it's the system we grew up in.
Right?
I had this analogy.
Okay.
I'm speaking from a woman's perspective.
Right, please.
From the time we are kids, I've met a lot of women and they've been through this.
Okay.
You either have one uncle somewhere, one family member that is trying to touch you, that's trying to bribe you with sweets, that's trying to, okay, take this 500 naira. They're always trying to, just to have access to your body. You keep growing up and you keep experiencing it. You keep you get into a relationship. Before you get into the relationship, the guy is telling you how much he loves you, how much he wants to do so much for you. But once he gets the cookie, he dumps you.
Right.
And a woman experiences that over and over again. So I can understand when a woman decides, you know what, so this is what almost she just gets that notion because unfortunately for her, she hasn't yet met a man who would value her well and, you know, treat her like she is worthy.
Right.
So sometimes I can understand why a woman could fall into that mentality of, okay, you know what, this is what you people want, Abby. Okay, so if you wanted to pay money.
I mean, so the even down to like our custom and traditions, where you have to, you know, I mean, it's nothing wrong with the bride price tradition, but like I know there's some cultures where they literally tell you to bring like a truckload of stuff. That to me, that doesn't even sit well with me because it just feels like you're buying this person. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then there's also parents who literally monetize their kids, like make sure you find a rich man or make sure you must buy me. What's that thing they call that?
Money that they can't afford
Do you understand
themselves.
what I'm saying? Must buy
A
me
life that
Bapa.
they couldn't afford to give you.
Exactly.
They now want to stress another person's son.
So that's the thing. So it's been there. It's like, and it's really sad, and it's passed down to generations. And now it's a lot of young girls who literally feel like that's just the way. Like if a man likes you, the only way to show he likes you is to spend money on you.
Yeah.
And it's just sad because that way you're just going to be falling into the hands of the wrongest people. If it's money, a man can literally do anything to make that money just to get you. And like you said, once he gets what he wants, it's done. But at the end of the day, you made it look like it's just money. So what do you want? Is, you know? So I think it's important for people to like know what's important to them. If it's the money that's important to you and you feel like no man should come to you because they don't have money, or if they don't have money, that's fine. Hopefully you get the man that will come and use money to get you and stay. But if you're like that, don't forget that the same way he gets you with money, you can get like 10 other girls with money.
Yeah.
If you make so much money, why do you think he wants to spend just millions on you when you can get many other girls too? So I think you should always find something that has value as well. Nobody's saying anybody should suffer, like be comfortable. Even as a guy, like before you get into a relationship, like be alright. You want to do things for people, you want to do things for your partner. But then as a babe, like, don't look at it like some emergency fund or like some escape from poverty or something. Like, you need to also do something. If you don't, it's understandable. Not everybody can be rich or something, right? But try and at least get comfortable, try and learn something, have some skill, learn a trade, or just get a job or something. Like, just earn, so that because this thing you just said, what happens is also like the pipeline or the funnel literally leads to abuse too. If you're just that girl and you say I'm a girl, the man must come with money. By the time he marries you, you're not doing anything. You've given birth to like 3 kids for him. He now turns into a monster. What are you gonna do? You're not earning. If he starves you, what are you gonna do? If he doesn't give you money to make your hair, what are you gonna do? If he doesn't pay for the kids' school fees, what are you gonna do? You're just there. And you can't do anything because why? You're just a housewife who married a man who has money. And now who now become very abusive. You can even start carrying women in front of you. You can't say anything because there's nothing you can do. But if you're empowered and you had your own businesses, you can say, "No, I'm not going to take this disrespect." You get me? And you can protect your children.
But there are women who are doing all that and they still experience domestic violence. They still experience.
I know, yeah.
So why do you think women like that still stay in situations like that?
So first, domestic violence, let's just make it clear, it's never on the victim. It's never the victim's fault, right? Yeah, so a monster will always be a monster. However, so that's why even if the woman doesn't have to be vulnerable all the time, it could even be a big woman, but indoors, she's being beaten up and everything, but outside, everybody's running like Madame is coming, and I think the reasons why they stay would obviously be like, they're trying to save the family or save the marriage or sometimes the kids. I know that the most constant one is the kids. Even when a woman is fed up, right, and she really wants to just leave, she says, I don't want my kids to have a broken home, or I don't want them to be worried about their parents, so they're staying there, suffering and enduring all the beating because they want their kids to have a stable family, so to say. So
wouldn't it be better for your kids to see you happy, see you healthy, and you can co-parent?
Absolutely. That's what I personally think, but a lot of people don't say it like that. Also, what the kids witness is what they understand. If you stay together and you keep being your wife, and they feel like that's what's normal and that's what love is. I feel
like a lot of people don't know that this is actually what we call generational curse.
Yep.
Because your children are seeing all this. What kind of person do you think they would become?
Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough, like my hair braider, one of my hair braiders at the time, years back, used to tell me that, and then she literally said the same thing. Like her mom, the man she married, rather, his father used to be his wife like that, and then she married this dude as a very innocent, naive girl. And then that's his son now. And he was all sweet, all nice. And after a while, it starts to beat her too. And he'll tell you, my dad used to do it now, it's normal. You must beat your wife. Like, if you don't beat your wife, like, what are you doing? She was like, what? So when she told me that, I was like, are you serious? And she endured that for years, until like 5, 6, 7 years before she now mustered the courage to leave. Then she started braiding, started making money, had her own shop. I even ruined the business first, so she had to start all over again and get her own place all over again, and it was crazy for her. But if she didn't have anything, she wouldn't have been able to escape. So it's tougher. It's tougher to break out when you're totally dependent on the person, on the abuser. So it's always good to secure yourself. And anything can happen. Just have your money. Your husband could even love you, and then he dies, and the family comes take everything. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, but now we have a community of men who start feeling insecure once their lady starts making money.
That's their business, though. That's their business.
I have personally met a few. Right? Like, I've had someone tell me that he was in a relationship with someone, and he was now saying, there's how a woman will have money that should not be submissive. I mean, I always say this. you cannot force a woman to be submissive. You have to create a space. The woman has to naturally feel submit. The topic wouldn't even have to come up.
Yes. She knows she's supposed to love and adore you and submit to you. And you also need to, like, you know, show her love and care and everything. And also submit to her. A lot of men don't like to hear it, but yeah, that's the truth. So yeah, you're right. A lot of men feel that way. The truth is, money makes different people act differently.
Yeah.
If the woman never really had money, she could make money and start acting funny. That's
Sure.
just nature. But that happens to men too. The men who would act the humblest and everything, but once they make money, you see the true color.
Yes. Now
So,
all the
yeah.
things that they've been thinking of doing in their minds.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
so I think it depends on the nature of the person. But the kind, level-headed, thoughtful person would never go out the line because they make money. And a woman who has money would still respect you. If you show her love and respect, she'll reciprocate. But not when you're trying to bully her, you're trying to abuse her. Then the day she resists the abuse, and I'll say, "Oh, because you're making money." Because they
How
pay
did you know?
You know, so I'm just saying, like, yeah. So it's a, like you said, it's a two-way thing, and you need to create the environment, for love. If there's love, nobody's gonna worry about who's earning what and stuff. I mean, with the way the world is right now, wherever you're from in the world, a two income household is better for everybody. It's just better life for your kids. You can save better. You can both retire early. You can buy property. You can pay off your mortgage, and then give your kids the best life. And maybe both of you can even retire to a nice countryside home or something. Yeah, but by the time all the burden is on one person, even the woman, because to be honest, there's some women who even run the house, even here in Nigeria.
And the men are comfortable.
Yeah, some women who
Like
are the backbone.
how do men just?
Yeah, many homes, and you know what's funny? They'll never come and rub it in the face of the man outside. They'll always respect him still.
Always
But
cover his shame.
ask a lot of people, even ask people you grew up with. There's even right from when we're kids. There were households where the woman literally was the one who sent everybody to school from her businesses and so many. So it's not even like it's rare. It's not rare. It's very.
But
common.
how does a man watch his woman, wear all these many hats?
See?
And still not serious with his life.
So sad. I mean, that's why I said it depends on the person. I mean, if you want to take care of your kids, if you really know that you should take care of your kids, you have to do what you have to do. It's understandable if you have like a bad time or like a misadventure.
That happens.
Yeah, but when you have to get yourself back up and try, So it's even worse when there's some people who are in this situation and they still, on top of that, still bully the woman. Is that not crazy?
That's double jeopardy.
So that's why when it comes to relationships, right? What my general advice to everybody, forget beauty.
Yeah.
Forget everything. Don't forget big boom boom shot. forget beauty. Forget everything. Forget like he's tall, he's muscular. He has a big bands. First thing is a kind and empathetic person. See all that superficial thing you're looking at. By the time the monster comes out, you will not even remember it. So go for somebody who's kind.
Yeah.
Go for somebody who's empathetic, who's genuinely like just a kind person.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying they're not going to be mad at you, but when they're mad at you, they're also kind about it. Not the one that because they're mad at you, they don't throw you off the balcony.
Or keep malice with you for days.
Yeah, or the woman that when she's mad at you, you can't sleep because you're scared she'll bring hot water and pour on you in your sleep. Just that. So you have to go. That's the first thing. Then you can now say, okay, my spec. Oh, she's fine. She's hot. Oh, he's tall. He has money. All of that stuff. Whatever it is you're looking for. You understand? Yeah. So that's what I'll tell everybody else. If you don't get a kind person, you're going to regret it.
You will suffer.
The standard is whether there's money or no money, you're going to regret it. Because unkind people would always show off, and when they show off, it is so cold. It is so cold. Like I've heard the most crazy stories, and it's something else. Even on both ends.
Can you share one of the stories?
Like, so many. Like I even witnessed one. I have a friend, a very close friend, who, and I didn't know about it. Apparently, his sister's husband was always beating her, and this is something I read in the news. Only for me to find out, I'm like, what? My own guy, your sister now. So I had to intervene, and he had been doing it and getting away with it even while she was pregnant.
Wow.
So I intervened, did the right thing. I think this big shout out to Lagos State Domestic Violence, and yeah, they're very good on that.
Yeah.
Take it up, like letting everybody know. Just take it up. They will follow it. Nobody. There's nothing like, oh, I know somebody. Nobody wants to stick their head out for an abuser. Even the
True.
governor will not call the governor. He will not pick. So take it up. They will get you justice. You know. And then next thing, this guy is in court. Next thing, they remanded him and he's in jail. And he came out and he turned a new leaf. Yeah. So that's the truth. And it was crazy before that. Like, he was always doing that, always beating her, beat her till she lost the baby. In fact, the point where he lost it was when he hit her mom. Yeah, he hit her and hit her mom. I was like, it's enough. So he just drove to my house, told me, one time now, soldier, let's go. Straight up. And then that was the last time we did it because
Yeah.
I intervened. If we did not deal with it that time, he would continue. And maybe one day
maybe
would have
kill
killed her. Yeah. So that's it. So we keep hearing these things every time. So whether there's money or not, an unkind person will show you shaggy. And even for a woman, like if you see an unkind woman, yo, I promise you would, when you come back from work, you'd rather go stay at the top of your roof under the burning sun than enter the house. Yeah. An unkind woman will kill you quick, real fast.
But
like
is it that we don't-
hypertension?
But is it that they don't
just-
recognize that these people are unkind before marriage, or something? Can somebody really just flip like that?
A lot of people don't recognize because they're blinded by love, but I promise you it's so easy to tell. Patterns are very easy. You can't tell me, oh, you blew your eye once and it was a mistake. Nah, patterns are very easy. Now, for real, patterns, like once you see a pattern 2-3 times, you already know. So even a lot of these people, when they tell you their stories, you hear them say, oh, I saw the red flags, but I ignored them, because they were blinded by love and everything. Don't let love blind you. Yeah. I mean, sometimes big bum can blind you. For me, but,
Oh my God.
but please, see through the bum and do the right thing.
Because your life is important.
Your life is
too.
important. So there's some things, sometimes we'll get blinded by things we look out for, physical
Yeah.
attributes. And some people are great pretenders. They're sweet,
Ah.
all of that. But even through that, courting, through the dates, through the gifts and the flowers, you would see it. You can see from the way you even treat other people, you can tell. So you don't feel, I treat her, it's because there are other people, me and his wife. Nah, he'll still bring it to you, or she'll still bring it to you. So if she's nasty to other people, don't think, because they're outsiders. She shouldn't be nasty to outsiders, you
True.
get me? So just look for the consistency in character. You would always see the patterns. And so that's the number one thing. If you want to enjoy whatever relationship, if you want to go into it, get a kind person first before every other thing.
Aw. Says the kindest man in Lagos.
Oh well, if you put it like that. If you put it like that.
So Raezy,
yeah.
can you share with us some of your self-care, self-therapy tips?
Right.
How you keep yourself sane, how you protect your personal space, how you place boundaries and all of that.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, so for self-care and other things, I like to take care of my mental health now, which I never used to pay attention to, like I said, when we started talking. So I do things I like to do. I like to watch a movie when I can, which I never used to do. Sometimes I just take money, spoil myself, go somewhere, just splurge, right? Not as much in this economy, but I still try once in a while. I go to the gym, play video games. Because before now, all I really knew was just work and being there for people.
Yeah.
But I now realize that for you to pour into people, you need to also be
Pour
full
into
every
yourself.
time. Yeah. So I do that. And again, like you said, boundaries, because everybody knows that. Even when, like in my industry, for example, when people try and they're trying to do stuff and there's no headway, and they fail or they've gone to waste money somewhere else, they'll be like, go to Raezy. Raezy will help you. So everybody knew me as that guy, yeah. So they now come to me and start telling me story.
You're now first aid, you're now a first aid box.
Oh my God, first aid box. Oh, so I'm supposed to, yeah, So exactly, and then it kept happening. And I'm like, which one is that? And they even tell me, Raezy, they said I should come to you. That, but you've blown millions everywhere. So I'm now so I did it a couple of times. Then I now had to start. Because it was because I just like to look after people. And I realized that you need to have boundaries still,
Sure.
right? Yeah, access. Because if you give everybody access like that, they'll keep taking. And then, so right now, I give my time to people who, you know, who I should be giving my time to, not just anybody.
People that are worth it.
Exactly, and then people who reciprocate, people who come through for me, and everything. Yeah. So I had to start doing that. It was very important, to be honest. Yeah. So now I have like more me time. I have time to invest in myself. I have time to take care of myself, be there for my own people as well, and then still be there for other people. You know?
I know there was a time we were learning, was it Spanish or Latin?
Oh,
I remember. Yeah. You were always posting this.
Yeah.
So did you finally?
Spanish.
Can you give us some sexy lines?
In Spanish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have forgotten.
Well, I mean, I stopped my classes for a while, but I can still say a few things.
Just say something nice.
I can say, okay, so, Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, soy Raezy Winston. And...
Sorry, Guinea.
Sorry, Raezy Winston, I am Raezy Winston.
That's Suarez, that was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can say I'm here with what's the word again? Anarchy con Nikki Dibbles. So I'm here with Nikki Dibbles.
Yeah. Nikki Con.
On your
Nikki
show, yeah.
Dibbles.
Con is with. Aki is here. I'm here with. Con is with.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Some nice steez.
We try. The Spanish was causing trouble though.
How was it causing trouble?
When I speak it, they just come with me.
So that's your secret weapon?
No, I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know they just love Spanish.
No,
so
we
much.
like anything that is, any language that is foreign.
Sexy.
And if it's coming with a sexy voice, with this accent,
Right.
and this perfume, guy.
I love that. Now you're giving me the cheat code.
Yes,
I'll go back to my classes. Yeah, but I mean, I love it. I love Spanish. I always loved Spanish from my days in Yankee. But because where I was, it was like I had a lot of Latino people around, and then they always spoke that. So that's why I picked it. But I never learned until recently in Nigeria. I was like, let me start doing that.
Okay. So finally, before we round off.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm someone who, I've met some people who don't like words of affirmation.
Okay.
But I am someone who lives by it because words of affirmation for me is like I'm speaking life into my life.
So you like words of affirmation?
Yes.
Okay.
I assure myself.
Okay.
I have to affirm myself.
Okay. But do you like to get it from people?
Not from people.
Okay.
There was a time that I used to wait for people to affirm me.
Yeah.
And I realized that how can I want people to affirm me if I can't affirm myself?
Okay, that makes
so
sense.
I can't build my life on someone's affirmation of me.
Makes sense.
I have to be the one to tell myself, Neka, I love you. I know that you're going through some serious shit now.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to put your life together, but I want you to know that I appreciate.
Right.
Like I'm talking to myself. If I'm talking, you think I'm mad.
Because for a second, I was like, okay, you tell yourself this?
Truly, there are sometimes at night, maybe lately I've been overwhelmed. I will just start, talking to myself in my mind that don't worry, it's okay. You've done this, it didn't work out. No wahala, give yourself time. You come up with another strategy, that sort of thing. Is it something that resonates with you, or you're just strong?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, but for me, like, yeah, you're right. I think I'm just strong. I just like to keep it moving. When it gets so bad, or it looks like I'm not getting what I need, I just tell myself, yo, you have no choice. You have to do this, man. And I keep trying, and eventually, it works out. Yeah. So you have to keep yourself going. I think it works for people differently. For some people, they have to actually say these things to themselves, like you do. But for some other people, just the fear of failure, or just understanding that, it's either this or this. It just keeps them going. And I think that's where I fall. That's the category I fall. I just know that I have to get it done. Like, no excuses. Yeah. And I've always been the guy who likes to just execute, get stuff done. So I do that to my own stuff too. So whenever it even looks like it's getting crazy, to be honest, I even like people telling me sorry, don't worry, things will get better. I hate it so much. I'm telling you, I don't know if that's trauma response, but I really don't like it. Like, just tell me, you know what? You can say,
to be pitied.
Yeah, I don't like to be pitied. You can tell me, you can show empathy and be like, yo, it's crazy, Sha, but don't start telling me, sorry, sorry, it's bad. Or,
does it make you feel worse?
Yeah, it makes me feel like the situation is so bad. Yeah, but no matter how bad it is, I know that I can always get out of it. So any other thing that would take my energy and make me feel like, oh, it's probably too tough, I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I already told myself that I can come out of this impossible situation.
Yeah.
So those start making it feel like it's the end of the world for me.
Yeah.
So that's just how I operate personally. But I think words of affirmation actually are great for a lot of people. But I just don't have to like narrate that to myself. I just get up and go and get it. Yeah, that's what I do.
I like your style.
Yeah,
I really like the way you think, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of young men can learn from Raezy and his steez and composure.
Right.
Okay,
That's
a lot
right.
of you people should stop consuming wrong information on social media.
Yeah.
This is the kind of conversation. That's why I'm having conversations like this. So thank you, Raezy, for coming here today,
Absolutely.
for sharing with us, for giving us wisdom, your wisdom
know,
of the wise.
You know, so we
And-
still do Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Sweet conversation.
Yeah, sweet conversation.
Yeah.
It was, your steez is too old. Let me just end.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank
If you watched the end, which I'm sure you did. Oh God. Ayo, please let me do this part again. It's the end part. The end part. Why do I always have issues with my end?
I'm still recording.
You're still recording. Please don't do this to me. Okay, so again, Raezy, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for dishing out, some wisdom, and I hope that young men would listen to people like you, and not, the negative. Because I've been a lot of guys that are on podcasts these days. They always, sharing strange analogies. Yeah, so this is the kind of conversations that you should listen to. And I'm so grateful for Raezy being here today.
Thank you.
Because you would think that somebody dressed like this and that is doing spree would not have, So that's why I'm so grateful for him gracing us today.
Right.
So don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button. Yes, you that you have watched to this point, hit the subscribe button.
Right.
Pico. So remember that this is always a safe space, and if you'd like to share your stories with us, if you'd like to share your thoughts, just simply send us an email to thebodiedandmindful@gmail.com, or you send us a DM and we will reach out to you. So till next time, stay bodied and mindful.